Welcome back to this course. In this lecture, I will be introducing you to the major concepts of AWS, and the best way of understanding these concepts is to walk through how Amazon's own website uses AWS to manage its IT infrastructure. The first component of this website is the Elastic Compute Server, or EC2 for short, and the compute server is used to run algorithms, make calculations, process input, and execute appropriate functions when the user interacts with the application. For example, if you look at this Amazon screen, the recommended products that are calculated for me are actually presented from the results of a complex machine learning algorithm which analyzes my previous searches and preferences to come up with the current list. If I click on one of these products, it processes my request by redirecting me to a different page which presents more information on this product. Once I'm done looking at this, I can do a search here, which is going to allow me to submit some keywords such as Tesla, and it is going to then go to the product database and search for this specific keyword. Any titles that match this keyword is going to be presented here, and another computation will be run to look at how to organize all of the different titles. You can see there are different metrics it might use. Maybe it uses the reviews, maybe it uses how many times Tesla appears here, and maybe it uses how much revenue that specific item has brought in. You can see how important the server is, and honestly speaking, it is the brains of the whole application. Now, there's a second component of this website, which is the Amazon Simple Storage Service, or S3. The S3 service is going to act like an online cloud where we can place files such as images, videos, and documents. If you have used something like Dropbox or Google Drive, you've had experience uploading files from your desktop to a cloud and making them available to anyone using a link. It is very much the same thing here. On this page, we have lots of different product images which are being pulled from the storage devices on the AWS cloud. What happens in the backend here is when our code runs on the EC2 server, it creates a box with a link pointing to an image in the cloud. Whenever the page needs to pull up the image, it will fill in this box with whatever that is there at the end of the link. The reason why we have a separation here and why we don't actually upload the image on the server itself is because the storage on S3 is a lot cheaper than using the storage on the server. So we want to make it as less expensive for us as possible. And the way we do that is we store the character strings which contain the location of where the image is inside the EC2 server and store the actual image on the S3 service that we have. The third and final component of this website is the database component. The database component is used to store structured data about, say, the products being sold, the sales that occur, and the basic information about a customer. The way a database stores data is in tables that follow a row and column format that is similar to Excel sheets that you may have worked with before. You can see here we have a sample Amazon table, and this table may be used to pull up all of the different sales that have occurred for the day. We have about 1,000 sales listed here, and the specific rows are going to be showing us each of the individual sales. If we scroll back up, you can see we have different columns. The first column describes the receipt number. Next, we have the customer ID. So this is going to be a unique identifier for our customer. We have the name, sale price, product ID, so on and so on. So this is going to be allowing us to run different kinds of analytics. It's also going to feed data into the logistics aspect of Amazon, which is going to decide, based on how much quantity of a specific product has been sold, do we need to ship a product from this location to another location? Is it running low? And it is going to be also feeding into the search engine, which is going to then rank the product based on how much we have sold of that product. So that's where the database sort of comes in. Database is used to store structured data, and from that structured data, you can get lots of different analytics and computations out. Now you can see how all these three things combined work to form this Amazon website. And we actually have one more component which is not related to the website, but it is through which we manage the whole website itself. So the way we do this is by going over to the AWS Management Console. The AWS Management Console is reached when you log into your AWS account. And here we have the three different kinds of services we talked about. We have the EC2 service, the S3 service, and the database services. So when you look at all these three services, you can basically form your application on these, and we're going to be looking at each of these in much more depth in the whole course. Now, if you want to get access to AWS, or if you want to follow along the lectures that are going to be taught in this course, what you can do is you can go over to the aws.amazon.com/free, or just search Amazon free tier, and it is going to bring you over to this page. You can go over to sign up, and you're going to be having free tier access for 12 months. And these are sorts of the limits that are placed on the amount of access you're given. And these limits are more than enough to work with anything in the course. I have made sure that any of the operations that I do are completely free, so you won't be having to pay an extra dime for any of these services in the course. Also, one thing you have to keep in mind is when you're signing up, you're going to have to submit your credit card information. So if there are any overages for the limits that you have set here, you are going to be charged immediately. And the best tool of looking at whether or not you're going over the limit, so sometimes you might accidentally leave something open, you can come down here to your name, go over to billing and cost management, and here you're going to be presented with all of the dashboard for all of the costs up till this specific month. Thank you so much for joining me on this lecture, and let's move along to the next one.